If you're broke, just make extra money is some of the most irritating advice you can hear. It feels like telling someone who's drowning to swim harder. You're already exhausted. Your time is sliced into shifts, commutes, and recovery. Your brain is busy doing crisis math all day. So when someone casually says, add another income stream, it doesn't sound motivating. It sounds disconnected from reality. But here's the uncomfortable truth most people avoid saying out loud. When you're broke, small amounts of extra money matter more than they ever will again. An extra $50 doesn't change your life when you're comfortable. When you're struggling, it can be the difference between calm and panic, between sleeping and staring at the ceiling, between a manageable month and a spiral. Being broke isn't just about having $0. It's an incredibly expensive way to live. It's the poverty premium, late fees, overdraft charges, paying more per unit because you can't afford bulk, buying time with money you don't have. One subscription hits early, one prescription costs more than expected, one small mistake tips the entire month over. Living paycheck to paycheck means your margin for error is zero. So when we talk about extra money, the goal isn't luxury, it isn't freedom, it isn't growing yet. The real goal is shock absorption, creating just enough buffer that one bad day doesn't become a bad year. This is where most advice completely fails people who are broke. It assumes you have time, capital, patience, and emotional bandwidth. Start a business, invest in yourself, learn a new skill, wait 6 months. That advice isn't wrong, it's just mistimed. When rent is due now and groceries are due now, delayed rewards aren't inspiring, they're dangerous. When money is tight, the rules change. Extra money has to meet 3 conditions. It has to start fast, it has to cost almost nothing, and it can't risk your stability. Anything that violates those rules isn't an opportunity, it's a liability disguised as ambition. This isn't about hustle culture, it's about friction reduction, survival leverage, turning time you already spend, skills you already use, or assets you already own into small, predictable cash. Not to get rich, not to impress anyone, just to stop bleeding long enough to think clearly again. Because once you buy even a little breathing room, something critical changes. You stop making decisions purely from fear, and that's where real momentum actually begins. Let's talk about how people actually make extra money when they're broke, because this is where most advice goes sideways. When money is tight, you don't need 10 ideas, you need 2 or 3 that work with your life instead of against it. First, we need to kill the fantasy. Gig apps are not passive income. Driving, delivering, tasking, these are jobs, and they only help if you treat them like precision tools, not default lifestyles. Driving 6 hours every night will burn you out, destroy your car, and keep you stuck in survival mode. Driving 2 targeted hours during surge windows, once or twice a week, can quietly cover groceries or gas. Same app, completely different outcome. One single parent I spoke with only logged in during Friday dinner rush and Sunday morning, 4 hours total. That covered diapers and school lunches. No chasing bonuses, no endless driving. Controlled, limited, intentional. Second, selling is often faster than earning. This part makes people uncomfortable, but it's real. If you own things you don't use, those items are frozen cash. Old electronics, tools, small appliances, gift cards with partial balances. Selling one item can outperform weeks of side work. This isn't about minimalism or shame. It's about converting clutter into time. One person sold an old tablet and used the money to pay off a phone bill that had been triggering late fees for months. That single sale didn't feel exciting, but it stopped bleeding. That's leverage. Third, microservices beat big ambitions. Watching a neighbor's kid for 2 hours, cleaning one apartment, assembling furniture, helping someone move a couch. These aren't scalable, that's the point. They pay immediately, no algorithms, no waiting period. A man earned $300 in a month just assembling furniture for people in his apartment building. No website, no branding, just a printed note in the laundry room. He found friction and solved it. This is the pattern. The money hides where the world is slightly broken, dirty, or inconvenient. Middle-class neighborhoods throw away usable furniture every weekend because fixing or listing it feels like effort. Seniors need small help that contractors won't bother with. Apps and companies pay for real human feedback because frustration is data. When you stop looking for jobs and start looking for friction, the options expand. But there's a hard boundary here. Anything that requires upfront money is dangerous. Anything that promises exponential growth is mistimed. Anything that turns survival into debt is a trap. Credit-based hustles feel productive, but they quietly increase pressure. At this stage, the goal is asymmetric gains, zero overhead, immediate payout, small wins that stack just enough to change your position, not your lifestyle. Here's the part almost nobody explains. Making extra money doesn't fix the problem by itself. If you don't use it correctly, it disappears so quietly you barely notice. The system is extremely good at absorbing your progress. Bills expand, delayed expenses resurface, small treats creep back in because you're exhausted and you deserve something. Suddenly you're working more hours, feeling more tired, and somehow still stuck in the same place. This is why so many people say, "I made more money and nothing changed." Something changed, it just changed in the wrong direction. Extra money at this stage only matters if it changes position, not comfort. Comfort is expensive when you're broke. Position is power. Here's the math most people miss. If an extra $100 prevents a $35 late fee, a $25 overdraft, and the stress spiral that leads to more bad decisions, that $100 didn't just earn money, it defended money. That's an offense. So the first job of extra income is not to improve your life, it's to remove landmines. Break one weak link, pay off the smallest recurring fee, catch up the bill that keeps triggering penalties, buy groceries ahead so the convenience store stops taxing you daily. The money won't feel exciting, it will feel boring. That's how you know it's working. A retail worker picked up 2 cleaning jobs a month, not enough to change her income bracket, but enough to build a $400 buffer over 4 months. When her hours were cut unexpectedly, she didn't panic, she didn't borrow, she didn't spiral. The money didn't save her because it was large, it saved her because it existed. This is what progress looks like at low income levels. It's invisible. Fewer emergencies, quieter weeks, fewer heart-pounding moments at the checkout screen. That calm isn't luck, it's purchased slowly with small, unglamorous decisions. The goal was never to hustle forever. The goal was to stop bleeding long enough for your brain to come back online. Because once you have even a small buffer, everything changes. You stop choosing the fastest option and start choosing the cheapest long-term one. You stop reacting to money and start directing it. Making extra money when you're broke isn't about escaping the system overnight. It's about weakening its grip. Dollar by dollar, month by month, until one day you realize something subtle but profound has shifted. You're no longer just surviving the math, you're finally using it.